time again for another installment of the basics, and I want to get back to the X-Files CCG because there's still a lot that I haven't covered. And on today's episode, I want to talk to you about combat cards and how to use them. Now, while your agents are out in the field doing their investigation and helping you to figure out your opponent's X-File card, there are going to be combat situations. You and your opponent are both going to be throwing down combat cards to try and stop your agents. Now, putting combat cards in your deck depends on the type of deck you're building and the agents you have in your deck, as well as the equipment in your deck. Combat cards and equipment cards are very closely related. For example, Gun Jammed negates the effects of any one equipment card that adds to long-range combat skill for the duration of this combat. If your opponent's using a shotgun or a assault rifle or any kind of weapon like that, this is going to come in handy. It will negate that kind of damage. You have cards like Hard Punch. Play on any combatant in a close-range combat round. Add 1 to the combatant's damage result. This is what you want if you are in a close combat situation. You're getting extra damage points, which means your opponent's agents will be sent to the hospital or possibly killed very, very quickly. Terminal damage. Play on any agent that has taken 5 or more damage from a single damage source. That agent must go to the hospital immediately and may no longer participate in combat. The agent cannot leave the hospital until fully healed. Subtract 5 from the agent's cost. If the cost is 0 or less, the agent is removed from the game. Basically, it's a sure way to kill an agent that you no longer want against you in the game. You have cards like Hide. Play this on one combatant with a subterfuge skill of 1 or more, or that is capable of using subterfuge cards. No damage may be dealt to that combatant in this round, and the combatant deals no damage. This helps you escape from taking any kind of ridiculous damage and having your agents end up in the hospital. There's other cards that do similar things depending on the skills of your agent, as well as some of the other cards in play, like Kick, Vicious Fangs, Dodge, which is mainly long-range combat, Ambush, which deals heavily with the subterfuge, and Semi-Jacketed Hollow Points. So again, long-range combat adds 2 points to that LRC skill, so it comes in handy with weapons. Combat cards are not to be taken lightly. You don't necessarily need a ton of them in the game or in your deck, but you got to know which ones to have. And again, they play with your equipment cards and they play with your agent cards, so you have to find that healthy balance. Now, I'm not saying to load your deck down with combat cards, because the last thing you want to do is have way too many combat cards in a deck and all you're doing is fighting, and no investigating, and you're not bringing out events or extra equipment you need to figure out your opponent's X-Files. So, again, it's all about balance. And there are several websites on the internet that show you deck designs and how many combat cards and equipment cards you should have in your deck, so check it out. That's all for today. Have a good one.